the end of week 7 of my challenge, so let's get into the eBay summary. So this week, $338.61 in sales, eBay fees $47.18. Just thought I'd point out that will just be the standard eBay fee based on the total value and then the postage. I don't do any promoted listings. I did a while back, but even then I only do about 2%. I don't have huge volume of listings, so I just don't want to lose money on, I don't know if you lose money, but I just don't want to spend the extra on promoting the listing. Maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. If anyone's got any comments on that, leave them below. But at the moment, I'm not doing any promoted. So those fees are just, as I said, just the final value and the fee for the postage value. So that left a total of $291.43, which, as I've said before, I need to take out the postage out of that, and then I put a bit of money aside for tax purposes. That was 11 items for a total of 6 buyers. So let's get into the actual items that comprised. So in my last video, I mentioned that I sold 2 Barbie dolls and the buyer asked to pay those a week later, which I agreed to. She paid for those on Monday, and that was a total of $179.95, including post. So that was good. She came through with that. Next thing I sold was this broken Barbie lot with a couple of dresses. I just started them at $9.95. It sold for $9.95 plus postage. I mean, I could have I actually was thinking of just chucking them in the bin, but then I thought, oh, you know, maybe someone will buy the broken bits. And they did. At the same time that I listed that auction, I also had another 2 Barbie dolls on auction in separate listings. One of them, this Mexican doll, sold, and unfortunately the person didn't pay, so that didn't come up in my total, but I thought I'd just show it in there because it, you know, it did sell, but they chose not to pay. I don't know if it's an auction thing that people are more inclined to not pay for their purchases on an auction versus a buy it now listing. I haven't had that many people that haven't paid. I've had a couple where they've changed their mind and asked to cancel, which is what I'd prefer that than just, you know, going the 4 days without any contact and just letting it, you know, your 4 days is up and then eBay automatically cancels it. I mean, I get people change their mind or buyer's remorse, probably in an auction as well, because, you know, you bid on something and then you think, oh, I really couldn't have afforded that, or I shouldn't have. But I just wish people would just kind of reach out and go, look, change my mind, can you cancel? Anyway, it was automatically cancelled by eBay. I haven't relisted it yet. I'm not sure if I will. Then I sold this magazine bundle of Womankind magazines, $40 including post. I think I got them. My local Vinnie's has magazines 50 cents each or 5 for $2. And sometimes I buy magazines that I think, you know, there might be pictures in there for collage, you know, for crafty stuff. So I did buy these, but then when I searched them up on eBay to see what they sell for, I thought, well, no, I'm not cutting those up, I'll sell them. Then I sold this DVD set. I did take an offer, had them listed for $29.95 plus post. Did take an offer of $20. I kind of ummed and ahed, thought, oh, should I? But they were free to me. There was someone a few months back who was getting rid of a whole heap of DVDs. This was some that we picked up for my in-laws to watch. They watched it, gave them back to me. It's not something I'd watch, so then, yeah, I've listed them and sold them. Then I've sold these, board game. Picked it up from Salvo's. I think it was on my birthday, so it didn't stay listed for very long. It was about a week. Maybe not even that, because I bought it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's sold really quickly. I paid $3. All the pieces were there. It was in very good condition. Sold for $34.95, including post. And then last night, the one person bought multiple of the Mickey and Minnie Fix-Ems and one of the Elsa's. I don't know how people can't combine their items and just like request a total on my listings. I've had someone else that's had trouble wanting to buy all these things, and then they've had to pay the postage, and then I've had to refund them. So it's something I probably have to get onto eBay chat to see what I've done wrong in my listings, where people can't add to cart, request an invoice, and then just pay once I've sent them an invoice. So, I mean, this will only cost me $1.50 to send these ones out. So, but they've paid, what's that, $4.50. So I'll refund them $3. But yeah, I need to check out why people can't do that on my listings, because I've had a few people that have said they can't. So it's obviously something I haven't set up properly. So that's eBay's totals for the week. Just looking at everything else. I did do a few Purkle surveys this week. As I said, most of the surveys on Purkle are very low value if you complete them. I did do one which got me $5, another which got me $2, and then if you get a guaranteed 20 cents if you do the questions but don't qualify to go on and continue the survey. So I did get 60 cents for not meeting eligibility to continue. So that was a total of 7 surveys, and my account total for Purkle is now $33.50. I haven't redeemed a gift card yet. I think I might just let it go until the end of the year and do that. And then I've had 2 competition wins, which was last Sunday. I won another of the beach towels through the Schweppes Solo Sunkissed competition at Woolies. And I also won a $100 Visa gift card through a Cadbury competition at Coles. And as per my rules, I have transferred that $100 from my grocery budget into my savings fund. So my Mission Tuition Savings Fund is now sitting at $651.41, which is 4% of my goal. Now, I did some math, and I'm not great at math, so hopefully these figures are right. So I think every week I need to meet 2%. So I need to make $269.33, transfer that amount every week, which is 2% each week of my goal. And by week 7, I should be at 13.5%, but I'm only at 4%. So I think that's right on how I'm tracking, I'm not sure. And back to my other spreadsheet. So competitions entered this week was 133. I had a really big night Sunday night. I entered 60 competitions. I am entering competitions more like the types of competitions that I previously would not have entered, such as Instagram comps. So I think that's a good little segue into competition discussion. So there are various types of competitions around. There's obviously ones where you have to purchase an item and enter. There's ones that will have purchase required, plus you have to enter or answer a 25 words or less question. There's comps that are just words or less. There's a lot of Instagram comps where you have to tag 1 million people, like the post, save the post, like 1 million other pages as well. Facebook, like a Facebook page, all sorts of different competitions. I predominantly enter purchase required and online entry, where you just have to, fill out a form or you sign up for a newsletter, etc. They're easy to enter, which unfortunately means a lot more people would enter. The easier the comp to enter, the more competition you have, because of the number of people that will enter. I mean, words or less, a lot of people are intimidated, including myself, and will just think that's too hard. Particularly a purchase required with a wall, like I don't even know how many, I can't even tell you how many I would have entered. Probably count on one hand how many purchase required plus a wall I've entered, because I just think, I'm not going to win that, so I don't enter, which is probably not the spirit of you got to be in it to win it. So there's various comps that people can enter. I have started doing the Instagram comps this year, which I hate. I hate having to follow all these pages, tag 1 million people, well, not really, but some of them you have to tag 3 friends. And I actually got, In the past, I've done that. I've done a few, and then I've been banned from being able to post or comment for a week by Instagram, because they think you're spamming. And then this week, I actually got my account suspended. I don't know what I did. I must have just followed too many pages to enter the comps, and then I had this instant suspension. So I appealed it, and then oddly, it instantly got reinstated. But then I couldn't comment for a day. So I'm back to being able to comment. But I think, if you're into Instagram comps, I think, and there are people on my comping forum, which I should speak about in a minute, that same happens to them. They get suspended for a week, or however many days, because they're considered to be spamming. And it's just so annoying, because I think, well, why does Instagram let these companies run these competitions in this way if then the people that are trying to enter are going to be penalised? It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, so at the start of the year, I did enter a lot of Instagram comps, and now I'm just at that point of thinking, I can't be bothered. It's just a bloody pain to have to tag and like and then get the risk of being suspended. I do wonder if those people, because I'm one of them, that I've got an Instagram account, but I'm not someone that posts my own content regularly. I just can't be bothered. It's just I'm not interested in Instagram that much. I tend to watch a lot of reels and stuff, but I don't post my own content. So I was actually wondering if that's why I'm more susceptible to being, banned from posting or being considered a spammer, because I'm just liking other people's posts but not doing my own stuff. Anyway, that's a theory that I've got. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So I started comping in 2005. Now I say that year because I did probably enter competitions randomly here and there. I went to Bali when I was 26 years old, and that was from a prize. I won a $1,500 Qantas travel voucher through a Kellogg's competition. And that was back in the day when comps were, on the back of cereal packets, or you had a flyer that was available in supermarkets that you had to pick up and attach your receipt to it and mail it off. So I won it. I either won it when I was 25 or 26 years old. But it wasn't until 2005 that I came across the forum that I'm currently a member of. It's a forum where people join up, you pay a membership fee, you join up and you get access to lists of competitions. So members post competitions for others to be able to enter. It does have a membership fee. I think back in 2005 when I joined up, it was $35 or $36. But part of your membership is if you post a competition, you get days added to your membership. I reckon I used to get a week added every time I posted a comp, and now I think it's a couple of days. I can't be sure. But as I said, I joined in 2005, May 2005. My membership runs out in 2029 because I've posted in the first few years. I posted competitions regularly for others, and so that just added to my membership. I remember thinking, am I crazy paying $35 for a website that just lists competitions? But I have to say it has paid for itself, and it has definitely been worthwhile. So that would be one of my tips. If you're serious about entering competitions, join a forum. Now, there may be others out there in Australia, that are free. You don't have to pay to join. I'm not sure. I've never gone. Once I found the forum I'm on, I haven't looked back. I don't know what else is out there. I'm happy with the one that I'm in. Yeah, as I said, members post competitions. Now, there's no way I would find the volume of competitions that I enter if I was looking for them myself. So that's one, big bonus to me of being a member of this forum, is that there's just the volume of competitions that are available for you to see whether you want to enter. And there's various filters and reports and things in the forum that help you narrow down the types of comps you want. You could search on, purchase only. You could search on WOL only. You could search on comps that have a certain dollar value, if you want to go for the bigger prizes. there's lots of reports, there's lots of functionality in it. It also tracks, it's got a tracking system where you can tick off the comps that you've entered, which is how I know how many competitions I've entered each week to be able to report back during this challenge. I never really look at how much I enter, but for this purpose of this challenge and keeping track of how many I have entered, there is a function where you can go and see how many comps you currently entered in at that point in time that are open. So what I do is when I sit down each day to comp, I look at what my total is at the start, and then I look at, once I've finished my comping for that day, then I look at what my total is, and I'm just plugging it into a spreadsheet. So that's how I can see that I've entered 60 comps on Sunday. So so that would be a big tip. If you're serious about comping, find a forum or a group somewhere that gives you access to competition listings. Secondly, I would say, and these are in no particular order, these are just things that I jotted down, you need a comping dedicated email address, because if you're entering competitions where, sometimes you tick a box where it says, when you enter, you agree to receive marketing. I always tick those boxes. Some of them are optional, but I always tick them because I have this paranoia that if I don't tick that I want to receive, marketing in the future, that I'm going to be excluded, which probably is not in the terms and conditions, but I've always ticked the box. And there are competitions where you can win. A lot of clothing companies, sign up to our email listing and you could win a $500 voucher. So I do a lot of those. But it means you're signing up to get emails constantly. So I have a dedicated Hotmail address, which I only use on any competitions that I enter, so that I can just filter out and have them separate from my personal emails. Part of, I'm very organized, but I am organized in that I have a spreadsheet, and it's a spreadsheet that tracks my prizes won each year. I have a tab for each year. It tracks my receipts for competitions where I've had to purchase. And then I used to have a tab which tracked my shopping list for anything that I needed to go, to the supermarket and buy. That was probably, I haven't used that for a couple of years. I think it's probably 10 or so years ago I might have used that part of my spreadsheet, because there used to be so many purchase required and I could never remember everything I had to purchase. But yeah, I feel like purchase required comps have cut down a lot. There's so many more comps, that are on Instagram and stuff for lesser value prizes than they used to. So yeah, I don't use that tab very much. But what I do is I have a system for keeping my receipts so that I always know where they are. When I first started comping, I probably just put them in an envelope or in a box, and so they're all loose. And then, I came across a discussion on my forum, how do you organise your receipts for competitions? So most competitions nowadays, you have to upload the receipt at the time that you complete the entry form. There are still some that you enter it and then it says you must keep a copy of your receipt for validation later. So it's kind of, I don't know what percentage would be, but always keep your receipts. Always keep your receipts. So, as I said, on my forum, there was a discussion once that, how do you organise your receipts? How do you store them? And there was one person that said that they use a diary, and they staple their receipt into the diary on the day that they purchase their item. So I started using that system, and I've been using it for years now. I mean, you could probably also use one of those expanding files and you put your receipts in, what you bought in January, what you bought in February. But I still would cross-reference it into my spreadsheet. So what I do, I've got a copy, this is my comping diary for 2025. It's not very full yet because we're only in February. But I use a day to a page. So I buy one of these from Kmart. They're usually about $10 for a diary. So that's my 2025 one. This is my 2024. And I will keep this until the end of 2025 because there can be second chance draws months later where you might have to produce a receipt. So I just keep my prior year's receipts for, this year. So yeah, a day to a page, because as I said, I enter a lot of purchase required comps, and I'd prefer to have a day to a page. And so then I basically just staple my receipts in on whatever day I purchased. Sometimes I'll keep a copy of the flyer, or sometimes I'll have these promotional leaflets, in the store. They don't, not as much as they used to. It's more so when you used to have to use a leaflet to mail in your entry. But Sip and Save tend to do this. They'll have their comps listed on one little flyer, so I usually grab that when I go buy something and stick that in my diary. But yeah, so all my receipts in there. But then what I do is I cross-reference it by listing it in a spreadsheet. And I think what I'll do next week is actually try to do a screen recording of my spreadsheet to show how I do that. But basically, I'll sit at my computer, enter the competition. I do tick off on my receipt, because I have actually caught myself out before where I've found a receipt and I think, have I entered that? So what I do is I'll enter it, and then I'll tick next to the product, and then I will pop it in my spreadsheet, the store, the date of purchase, what the price is, what the product was, and then I'll go and staple it into my diary. So that way, if I ever get an email where they say, can you produce the receipt for this, then I can quickly filter on my spreadsheet, and then I know to quickly go, I can see what days I entered that, and I'll just go to my diary and just bring up that day and find my receipt. So that has been, that's one way that I keep myself organised with my purchase receipts. So I guess it depends on what type of comps you enter though. If you're not going to do purchase required, then I don't even know if you'd want to keep a spreadsheet with comps that you enter. I mean, I don't track any of the online comps I enter. I only track the purchase required. I have been tracking the words or less ones that I've entered this year. I did it years ago. Then I stopped because I stopped entering words or less because I'm pretty bad at them. And I think the last time I entered a word or less where I tracked it in my spreadsheet was 2008 or some years and years ago. But I have been doing it this year, keeping track of what my answer was, and then just to see, if I won them, what I said. I'm going to leave it there. I've just had to stop the video because my throat is getting sore, and I've had a coughing fit. I think I'm talking too much. As I said, I think I'm coming down with something, so it's probably a sign that I've been talking way too long, and just to end the video. But I will say, like, those things I talked about, the comps, I'm not an expert. This is what I've done to keep organised and just to, keep me up to speed with what comps are out there and, what I can enter. So if you're interested in comping, you can take some of them on board or not, do your own thing. But at the end of the day, as they say, you got to be in it to win it. So enter. That's it. So that's it for me. I will hopefully see you next week. Thank you. Bye.